お嬢様。
Hello my lords and ladies, Joe here, continuing my series on the field operation of Eureka and whether or not it's worth doing. This time we will be heading to the icy-hot Forbidden Land Eureka Pyros. If you've gotten here, congratulations on overcoming the Great Wall of Pagos. Pyros as an experience is considered far less stressful than its predecessor zone. It's far easier to navigate, and you should have gotten used to the level of monster aggression. The light grind is now strictly optional, but what really separates Pyros and can make it fundamentally easier is the introduction of a new mechanic, the Logos actions. These are linked to a new type of reward that is introduced in Pyros, Logograms. Logograms come in 9 varieties, and you appraise them with Drake at your base camps. Each logogram, once appraised, will give you a random meme from its category. You can then use these memes at the Logos manipulator to create Logos actions. These actions are abilities that you can use only in Eureka and can make your Pyros and beyond experience much easier. Some jobs can become as sturdy as tanks. You can give yourself the possibility of resurrection, or healing spells, or make monsters weaker, and so forth. On top of this, you'll need to unlock different Logos actions to obtain certain rewards within Eureka, as I will explain later on. While I will be mentioning how to get various logograms, a great resource is Absolute Essay's Eureka Bestiary Monster Compendium Adaption Mutation Tracker Google Doc, which has a logogram farming tracker tab, which, along with the logogram section of the Eureka Tracker website, are really helpful resources. Both will be linked in the description. You can buy logograms off the market board if you find yourself missing a few memes, but for you trial players and the self-completionists, you'll have to get them the good old-fashioned way. All that being said, Pyros can definitely feel like a reprieve when compared to Pagos. The one downside I would say is that Pyros is a huge area, but the way you traverse it is through narrow pathways, making it a bit of a chore to get around. But if you made it this far, it would be a shame to quit your Eureka journey now. Moving on to reward categories in Pyros, I'd like to start out with a new source in Sprites. Sprites are the elemental mobs that show up during certain corresponding weather conditions. And while they've been in every zone in Eureka, starting in Pyros, Sprites become a very valuable resource in obtaining logograms. The stipulation is that you have to be able to obtain elemental experience points from the sprites in order for the logograms to drop. So some have a semi-tight leveling window. Different sprites drop different logograms, and some sprites are required to be adapted in order for the logograms to drop. For a description of adaptation and mutation of enemies, check out my previous video on Pagos. The sprites I would like to bring attention to are the level 52 Snowstorm sprites located in the center of East Flamerock, which appear during snow and blizzards, the level 54 Thunderstorm sprites, which spawn with the thunder condition, and the Typhoon sprites, which show up during umbral winds. Both of these are located in the southeast section of East Flamerock. All these sprites need to be adapted, and they are without a doubt the best way of obtaining inimical logograms in Pyros. But even more importantly are the level 43 adapted flame sprites in the northwest of the southwestern Ice Needles region, which spawn during heat waves, and the level 46 thunderstorm sprites, which can be adapted or not in the very southwest of the West Flamerock region. Besides these being the best way to get meditative logograms in Pyros, if you max out your elemental level in Pyros, they will no longer give you elemental experience, and thus they will no longer drop their rewards. So make sure to pick up some meditative logograms from them while you can. Moving on to the other reward sources, if you want a quick rundown on prize sources and how they work, check out my previous videos in the series. As for the Notorious Monsters, which have special rewards, in the south of the southwestern Ice Needles, at the Dragonstar Observatory, kill the Valking Mammoths in order to spawn the level 38 Fate Creepy Doll. This has you going up against Graphi Akane, with her 2 doll ads, Graphi and Akane. Beating the horror show at a gold rating will give you the possibility of a single curative logogram, but more importantly, the Kalka minion. In the center of East Flamerock, you can find Pyros Treants. By calling them, you can spawn the level 47 Fate You Do Know Jack. This has you going against the Weeping Willow, which will spawn Lumberjack once defeated. Beating both of these Notorious Monsters will give you a chance of receiving the Wind-Up Elvon minion. These next 3 fates rewards are all connected. In the northeast of East Flamerock, downing Illuminati escapees will lure out Lamebrick's Strickbox with his level 45 fate 30 Wax. Defeat this Alexander boss, and he has the chance of dropping Lamebrick's dice. In the northwest cave of the Cavern of the Second Cant, killing the Pyros Heck dice will spawn the level 49 fate Haunter of the Dark. Where you face off against the ghoulish Yin Yang, who has a rare chance of dropping Yin Yang's tissue. To make Skull and his level 50 fate Heaven's Warg appear, you need to go to the south of the Cavern of the Second Cant and put down the Pyros Shucks. However, Skull will spawn at the very north of the southwestern Ice Needles in the Garden of Despite, under the weather condition of blizzards. Defeat the Ice Wolf, and you have a chance of receiving Skull's Claw. Now, if you manage to acquire all 3 of these rare drops, you can turn them into the Expedition Engineer at North Point to gain an extra Magicite for your Magia board. And the final Notorious Monster, you need to exterminate Val Blood Gliders, which you can find in the northeast and southeast of East Flamerock. If the weather is heat waves, the level 50 fate Lost Epic can spawn. This has you going against the hot moth mommy Penthesilea. Defeating Penny gives you a guaranteed drop of 3 Penthesilia's Flames, with a chance of the Penthesilea Triple Triad card. Moving on to Pyros Lockboxes. The notable rewards you can receive are the Dalmel Calf Minion, the Housing Tabletop items, the Adventuring Pack, Glass Jars, Spice Rack, and Wooden Plates. You can also get all the materials required to make Potions of Harmony. Heat Warped Lockboxes are the Warped Lockboxes of Pyros. The notable rewards you can receive from them are the Ballroom Etiquette Idle Gossip, which allows you to use the Scheme emote. This is another method for receiving the Dalmel Cap minion, the Samurai Barding, and Tactile Logograms. On a special note, Warped Lockboxes are the only way to receive Tactile Logograms in both Pyros and the Final Zone. So unless you buy them off the market board, you will need to go lockbox farming if you want to get all your Logos actions. When it comes to Happy Bunny fates, there are 2 elemental conflicts. The level 35 We're All Mad Here, which is located in the northwest of the northeastern Ice Needles region, and the level 46 Uncommon Nonsense, which is on the west side of East Flamerock. The bronze chest's notable rewards are Conceptual Logograms and Fundamental Logograms. For the silver, you can get the Happy Bunny Triple Triad card, the Modern Aesthetics Form and Function, the Archeo Demon Horn's Head Glamour Gear, and Curative Logograms. Gold chests also have the Modern Aesthetic Form and Function, along with the Eldthrus Horn, which allows you to summon the Eldthrus Mount, Offensive Logograms, and Protective Logograms. When it comes to crystal rewards, upgrading your elemental weapon to its fiery Pyros version will require 650 Pyros crystals and 5 Penthesilea Flames. If you have the crystals for it, you can purchase Penthesilea Flames for 50 Pyros crystals apiece from the Expedition Birdwatcher. Like Pagos, when you defeat monsters in your level range or Notorious Monsters, you can receive Light, which you can exchange for smoldering Protean crystals at the Mark II Crystal Forge located at the Partisan's Truth in the northwest of East Flamerock. But it plays a much different role than it did in Pagos. Once you've upgraded to a Pyros weapon, you may notice that all its supplementary stats have vanished. To regain these stats, you now need to spend 2 smoldering Protean crystals at the meme workstation, and you'll be assigned a random assortment of relative stats. Now, this isn't necessary for your weapon's completion, and there's really only a few reasons you would want to go through the trouble of rolling enough times to give your weapon a decent stat line. One is for the Eureka enthusiasts. The best in slot Eureka weapons are the completed Stormblood relics. So if you plan on spending an extended amount of time in the field operation, you should consider boosting your weapon. This is even more so for trial players. Eureka weapons have the potential to be best in slot for level 70 players. So if you're a freebie bum and that sort of thing matters to you, you'll want these weapons to reach their potential. Another reason to boost its stats from what I've heard is if you are an ultimate enthusiast. I have been told that players who really get into the unending coil of Bahamut and the weapons refrain use fully decked out Eureka weapons, as their stat bonuses bypass synced down weapon restrictions. However, if you're here just for the glam of the relics, you don't really need to worry about giving them their bonuses, because you'll never be using this weapon outside of the previously mentioned circumstances. Also in Pyros, new sets of relic armor are introduced. To be given access to the Expedition Artisan and his elemental armor wares, you'll need to complete all of the Pyro quests and have unlocked 50 Logos actions. Now you see why logograms are so valuable. Each set costs 200 Pyros crystals. And even if you don't like the gear, you might want to consider picking it up because it too can be upgraded into a much more dazzling set later on. If you are a trial player, you should definitely consider buying all the armors for the jobs you have, as the upgraded versions of these armors are the best in slot armor for level 70 players. Note, if you want to have both versions of the elemental armor in your glamour dresser, you'll need to buy 2 sets. Upgrading the armor requires it to be turned in, and there is no replica versions that are sold. Time once again to add an addendum on which rewards you can receive through means outside of Eureka. The Kalka minion is dropped from the final boss chest in the Anti-Tower dungeon. You can also receive it through Material Coffers 3.0. The Penicillia card can be obtained through Triple Triad matches by challenging Hetsukaze. He is located on the Kurobodo Maru at the Short Pier in Kugane. You'll need to have completed the featured quest, and we shall call it Hydatos, to play against him. As for the Halmel Calf, it can be obtained through Material Containers 4.0. The Happy Bunny card can be obtained through challenging Botan, who is located on Pier 1 in Kugane. To challenge her, you must complete the featured quest, and we shall call it Pyros. And the Elthrus Horn is also an extremely rare drop from Material Containers 4.0. And there you have it. I hope this video helped you decide if Pyros is worth doing, but let me know what you think. Are you going to give Pyros a shot? Which rewards are you going to aim for? For all you Eureka sprouts, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And for you Eureka mentors, feel free to drop any tips you might have for newbies heading into Pyros. Make sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned, for next we will be heading into the marshes of the Forbidden Land Eureka Hydatos. Until then, I'll see you in the world of tomorrow.